Yo, what's going on, guys? Excited to bring you another video today. Similar as the last few, I'm just going to head into a key, hop in, and kind of think out loud as I speak. This time we're going into a 14 workshop. If you guys have any questions about what I'm doing or how I'm doing it, please feel free to leave them in the Discord or my comment section. I'll try and answer all of them. I'm just here to try and help you guys learn the class. And as always, you can follow my actions and what I'm pressing down by my details channel. But without further ado, let's hop into this key. Alrighty, heading into another key here. I'm just gonna kind of think through it. This is mainly a pug group. I'm in no comms with anybody. Just so you guys can kind of potentially compare it to stuff you might experience. So pretty big pull here. Gonna slappy hands, pop a defensive, get on this bomb here, trinket racial, pop my guy. We'll stop that detonate. We're gonna watch our feet here. Trying to summon a blood beast with vampiric strikes. We got a scythe proc. We're gonna use that. Vampiric strike here. We'll put a new defile down. That bomb's going to die, so we'll get on this bomb. We're going to use our AoE stop to try and stop the detonate. I think we must have already used it because it didn't go off. Use a new scythe here. Put a dot on the new things coming in. Spamming some epidemics. Going to kick this detonate. Use these doom procs. And there's not enough targets anymore, so we're back to pressing death coil. And just watching our feet here. So we didn't get a blood buddy there, which is a little unfortunate. Could have done a little bit better job of spamming our kind of wounds and vampiric strikes to make sure we were getting more damage out. But overall, not a horrible pull. That's a tough pull because you have to watch your feet, obviously. You got to make sure you're stopping the detonates, and that's much more important than like any amount of DPS you're going to be doing. So could have potentially popped another Dark Transformation there, considering my Unholy Assault is coming off cooldown. Ideally, you want 2 Dark Transformation windows for every Unholy Assault. So we're actually just going to wait, which is like even more proof why I should have just popped it in the first place. We'll wait for this flipper to go out. And we will come back in with Wraithwalk. We'll pop WT, Unholy Assault, and now we are just going to go to town. Try and get as much damage out as possible. When you're in your boss fights, you care a little bit more about capping your single target and stuff like that. So you do not want to be overcapping on runes or overcapping on runic power, since they are the things that do the most damage for you in the boss fight. We're going to pop Slappy Hands for some extra damage, reapply our dots because Dark Transformation is over. For those curious why, Dark Transformation, once it ends, it pops your next Scourge Strike pops the remainder of your wounds. So we'll put a new Defile down here. We're going to DT, Death Coil, Trinket Racial, spam some Vampiric Strikes. We have a Blood Buddy out now, so we're trying to get as much shadow damage as possible. I don't know why I got flippered there. That was really unfortunate, but what can you do? We'll use our Scythe, put some dots on them. Get out of this tank circle. We don't want to be in that. He's got plating on him, so we're going to switch. He is the higher one, so we're going to switch back. Put a new Defile down so we can cleave. Reapply our dots. We are getting tossed around up here. We're going to get flippered towards the boss so that we don't have to run as far. And we'll put down a Defile. We'll Unholy Assault. We will Dark Transformation. And now we are just kind of spending our Doom procs, trying not to overcap on either of our resources. We'll use the Scythe proc. Man, we are getting flippered a ton this fight. We'll Death Coil. We'll switch targets now. We will run in. I accidentally canceled my Wraithwalk. That's never good. Reapply Dot because it fell off. We are outside of Dark Transformation now, so we can use things like Soul Reaper. Put a new Defile down so we can cleave. Now, some people have been festering striking outside of their cooldowns on this fight. I'm not sure what is best. That's really unfortunate. We are getting super unlucky with these flippers. That's okay, though. We will just do as much damage as we can. We'll switch to the bigger guy. We're saving Slappy Hands for down there because I like to have it down there. It is good to pop as extra damage, but if you are in a situation where you kind of want mobs to stay on top of each other, it's better to use it for that than it is for the extra damage. Really got to make sure we stay alive here, so we're going to pop a defensive. And there we go. Nice 2.47 on the first boss. Nothing crazy. But not bad either. Quick breakdown of that fight. Lots of death coil damage. Lots of Vampiric Strike damage. Death coil is going to be your like biggest boss fight damage. So it is very important not to overcap it. Alright, moving on to this pull. This is a really tough pull. So what I like to do is try and get down there quick with the tank. Get on a metal gunk. And then throw down AMZ as my first global. And then Dark Transformation, Trinket, Racial, Pot. And spamming. Gonna interrupt this with a pull. We're gonna use some of our procs, our Doom procs. We're gonna Slappy Hands and go back to spamming Vampiric Strikes. Trying to get as much damage out as possible. Use a Scythe proc here. There's not a lot of mobs left, so we're death coiling now. We'll put down a new Death and Decay just to finish them off. The camera angle in here is so weird. And then now that we're outside of our Dark Transformation window and we are just kind of like waiting for the next thing, we're trying to fish for some Vampiric Strikes just so we can keep our Blood Queen buff. That's the 7 stacks there you see in my thing. If you can keep that up between pulls, you are going to do so much more damage, which I did, which is huge. So now I can just do a ton more damage than I would have if I didn't keep it up. And we're going to pull to stop this Corrosive Gunk. We'll use a Scythe here. We'll put down a new Death and Decay, or sorry, Defile. We'll use some of our Spenders, new Scythe. Now we're switching to Death Coil because obviously we do not have as many targets. New Death and Decay, or sorry, Defile. And hopefully our tank lives this. And same kind of thing, we are just trying to, I'm going to use a health pot just to help the healer. We are just trying to keep our Essence of the Blood Queen buff alive, which it is looking like we did. I think this is a decently big pull. We have to pop anyways, so we're going to DT, Dark Transformation, Unholy Assault. I wish he would have pulled in both, but that's okay. Spamming Vampiric Strikes here, trying to get a Blood Buddy out. No luck there. We'll spend here. We're going to stop this. We're going to use we're going to spend some spenders to try and extend our Dark Transformation. Oh, we misused our Scythe there. We should have gotten a Scythe out, but that's okay. Just trying to keep Blood Queen buff alive now while we wait for the next pull. And we luckily summoned a Blood Beast, which is kind of funny, but he's going into the next pull. We're going to Slappy Hands, Dark Transformation, and spam Vampiric Strikes. Normally, you don't care too much about overcapping in AoE. You just want to get your Vampiric Strikes off. It's a little silly because I didn't have any pulls for this, but that's okay. We're gonna put down an AMZ just to help the dot when it does come out. It is fire damage. I mean magic damage. Actually, I think it is just fire damage, which is magic damage, so. And we're just finishing up this pack. We are saving our cooldown here just so for the next pack. I don't know what his next pack is. It's just a lot of dogs. So we're going to send here Dark Transformation, Unholy Assault. Put a new Defile down. We're going to pop a defensive to help the healer. Spamming Vampiric Strikes, trying to summon a Blood Beast. Spending while we wait for runes. Trying to summon a Blood Beast again. Dark Transformation's almost over. Gonna spend to extend it. Now the dot's gonna get consumed. Reapply the dot. Spend again. Trying to fish for vampiric strikes. Hopefully he gets the boss now, because we do have vampiric strike. We have 10 seconds to get a... But we have a dark transformation, so we will get to keep it. Which means we just get to do a lot of damage this boss fight, which is awesome. So ideally, anytime you can keep your Essence of the Blood Queen buff up, you're just going to do a lot more damage than... And this is after the change, so... This is after the change, so we do have to LOS here. We'll Slappy Hands just for the extra damage. Trying to fish for a proc. We did get it just in time. That's huge. So there's a leap on me. I got to get out. I'm going to AMS. You AMS the leap or the cleanse, because it gives you a bunch of... It gives you a bunch of stacks. We're going to do this just in case. And we will get back on the boss now. And we're just kind of spamming vampiric strikes and death coils. So this video is being recorded with the live new changes to Cujo. So you cannot hit him anymore, which is super unfortunate for our uptime. It's super unfortunate for our keeping our Blood Queen buff up if we get unlucky. Overall, it's just, it doesn't feel as good for us melee. There we go. We did get a vamp strike. Gotta watch out for this. And we did get a thing, so we're going to pop AMS, spam some death coils because I'm going to get runic power back, pop dark transformation, and just kind of spam this. I got a little greedy there. Probably shouldn't have. I didn't realize how far the box was. I just wanted to try and squeeze out some damage in my cooldowns. Reapply my dot. Watch out for the box. We do have the thing on us. We're going to pop Lichbone because we don't have... we don't have whatever. We're outside of windows, so now we're going to be kind of balancing runes and wounds. We're just going to get safe this time because we're not in cooldowns anyways. And then we're going to pop Dark Transformation because of how much time it takes to get to the next pull anyways. And we will just try and finish off this boss. And there you go. 1.2 on this boss with a lot of downtime, unfortunately. Before the change, I was doing closer to 1.7 to 1.9. After the change, you can just AMS these, by the way, this little fire. You can just run right through. And Death's Advance makes it so you don't slip on the treadmill. Alright, coming into this pull with our little slow butt. Everyone beat us here. We are going to Slappy Hands, Dark Transformation, Trinket Racial, and pull this out of the Giga Zap. Someone kept it in the Giga Zap. That's super unfortunate. Spam some Vampiric Strikes here. Use our Doom proc. More Vampiric Strikes. Another Doom proc we're going to use. And use the Scythe here. We'll get on the other Tinkerer. This pack got deleted. Defile, put our dot on them, use this Doom proc, and luckily we did get to keep our Blood Queen buffs, which is awesome. We're going to drop an AMZ for this AoE. The healer, oh my god, barely lived, that's awesome. We have an AMS for the next one. We're going to drop a new Defile. Just kind of... Now we're just trying to keep our Blood Queen buff heading into the next pull, which is the single target mob here. So if we can keep it up, it is obviously wonderful. which we should. We got a Vamp Strike really late there, which is perfect. We're going to send everything on this mob because next is the maze. So Dark Transformation, Unholy Assault, and just kind of spamming Vampiric Strikes. Because this is single target, you don't want to overcap Runic Power, and you don't want to overcap on your runes. And then once we leave Dark Transformation, that's when we'll balance our wounds and runes. Just dancing here, getting safe. Gonna use Slappy Hands for extra damage. Alright, now that I am out of my window, I am going to apply wounds and pop wounds and so on and so forth. We are running to the safe zone. We're going to reapply Dark Transformation because, again, next is the maze anyways. And when you're in Dark Transformation, you're just back to spamming Vampiric Strikes and Death Coils. And there we go. That is that mini-boss, or whatever you want to call it, down. Alright, dropping our Death and Decay. We're going to get on this Tinkerer, Trinket Racial, and really just everything. Trying to blow up this pack. And just spamming Vampiric Strikes. There we go. We got a Blood Beast. Put a new Defile down. Use the new Scythe. We're going to consume our dot. Reapply our dot. And use that Scythe proc. Put a new Defile down. We're not going to use Dark Transformation, obviously, because we're about to go into the boss. And we will get to boss with full stacks of Blood Queen buff, which is freaking awesome. We're not going to put our Defile down yet. We're going to move with the boss. We'll put our Defile down now so that we can cleave onto the flower. We will stay on one side of the fire beam. If the boss ever goes to the other side of the fire beam, feel free to just use your AMS and walk across it. Watching the gears, obviously. Now we're applying dots because... wounds because Dark Transformation's over. Reapply our dot because of Dark Transformation ending. And now we're applying wounds. And we're just kind of waiting for our next cooldown set. We're going to Unholy Assault. We're going to Dark Transformation. Now we're just back to spamming Death Coils and whatever. We've got a really close flower, which is awesome. We accidentally AMS'd a little early. So hopefully we pick the right side when this comes out. We're going to use a movement ability to make sure we're staying in front of the line. And our Dark Transformation is over, so we're going to reapply dots. We're going to apply wounds now with Festering Strike. And we're popping said wounds, reapplying said wounds. And just ultimately trying to fish for some Vampiric Strikes as well to try and make sure we keep our Blood Queen buff up until our next thing, which is right now. We're going to pop a health box because we took a gear there. We're going to watch our feet here. Watching our feet. Staying on the boss, cleaving onto the flower. The less your pets have to move, the better. We're going to pop AMS here because the tank went the other way. No, I got really unlucky with that gear set. I will probably get B-Res. Yeah, I am. I'm just going to make sure it's safe. It is. I'm going to pop a pet. I'm going to wait. All right. And now we are just back to DPSing the boss. Going to apply our dots, our wounds, and stuff like that. A little bit of a silly death from me, but that's okay. We're going to just pop Dark Transformation because the boss is pretty low and the next pull is really tough. And we're watching our feet here, obviously. We do not want to have another death. We are going to stay on the boss while it moves over to the flower. We're going to put our Defile down to cleave. Now, the flower is very important to kill, but... oh my god. Watching our feet. These gears are menacing. But we can have another death. Reapply our dot. And let's just finish off the boss. And there we go. Only one death, which is not great from me, but that's okay. We did 1-5 on that fight. All right, moving on to this pull. This is a really tough pull. Always focus the second mob. It starts the RP faster. We're going to drop our AMC, trinket racial, pot, everything we got. Use our scythe here, put a new defile down. Spam our resources. Try and get as big of a blood beast as possible. Use the doom proc when we get it. Nice, we got another blood beast. Alright, our dark transformation's almost over, so we're going to use spenders to try and extend it. And there we go. And that is that pull blown up. Honestly, the first time I've ever lusted it, but it felt very, very good with lust. I know I've heard people like talk about it, but that felt nice. All right, moving into this pull, we won't have any Blood Queen buff, which is a little unfortunate, but that's okay. We are going to get on one of these 3. We'll drop a Defile, Dark Transformation, and Vampiric Strikes. And we'll use a Scythe here. And we're going to stand in this little protective bubble. We don't want any unnecessary damage that our healer has to heal. We're going to get out of it because we don't trust it for the squirrel. If you're wondering why I'm death coiling, it's because there is very important prio mobs in this pull, and you want them to die before, fast as possible before the defenders die. And Epidemic would just kind of make it so that they die without well before the defenders, and that's not what you want. We do need to kill them quick here. I am saving cooldowns because I don't know if this guy is going to skip or not. I will do an AMZ for the short out, which is a little unfortunate because I wanted it for the next packs. We're going to dismiss our pet just in case. I think we are Mindsoothe skipping. We are indeed Mindsoothe skipping. No, you can't go that way. You can't go that way, dude. Okay, so now we are in the world's hardest pull. We're going to summon our pet, Dark Transformation, Unholy Assault, Trinket Racial. We're going to pop a defensive. We're going to try and stop cast. We are just kind of trying to do as much damage as possible. This is like a super hard pull now. If you're wondering why I'm on Tinkerer, it's just to try and stop as many Gigazaps as possible. I need in that bubble. I got another Dark Transformation out. Put a new Defile down. So, if you're wondering why this failed, you have to go around the right side. You have to go around the right side in order for this, that Mindsoothe skip to work. So, around this, like, outer edge here, that is how you get that skip to work. And someone went right through here and pulled. Luckily, we lived with no deaths, but still a much harder pull for us than I think anybody truly wanted, but that's okay. We're going to pop a defensive here. Don't want our healer to have to struggle more than they already are. And there we go. This pack is done. We're just trying to fish for a Blood Queen stack reset, which is a Vampiric Strike, which we did get. So we will have one going into the boss. We're going to speed our way over. And then hopefully he pulls soon. The healer needs mana, which is a bit unfortunate for us, but important for the group. So we might just lose our DPS, which we definitely are. Unlucky, but living is more important than our DPS, so that is okay. Watching the orbs, obviously. And we are back to just kind of farming between not wanting to overcap runes and not wanting to overcap runic power. Watching the orbs. We'll put a new death and decay down. We'll slappy hands for that extra damage. Watching the beam. Watching our feet here. I think I'm going to need to get a little further out. Yeah, just to be safe. Alright, we're out of DT, so we will apply wounds now and pop wounds. And still fishing for vampiric strikes while we wait for the next DT, which is right now. So there's an interesting DK only... Oh, maybe not DK only, but something that is really unfortunate with this fight is our ability Festering Scythe is normally very important. However, it does not work on this boss in his second phase. So you cannot actually use it in the second phase. It just won't hit him. I made a cancel aura macro. That's a little bit min-maxy. You do not have to do that. You can just like simply not press the button as well. But I chose to use a macro for it. I'm gonna DT here just to make sure he like fully dies in this phase, and then once we are in phase 2 is when I will send my next round of full cooldowns. And we are just gonna finish him off. Alright, heading into phase 2. So this is where I was talking about where Scythe won't hit him anymore. That's okay, though. We're going to wait for a second. We're going to watch the balls. We're going to Unholy Assault. We're going to actually get the healer up now. And then we'll Dark Transformation. We'll get the healer up again. Hopefully we have no more deaths. We didn't get to focus much on our damage, but that's okay. Getting the healer up, much more important. For this, we can Death's Advance. And then we'll pop an AMZ for anyone who is close enough to us to use it. And there we go. We're applying wounds, popping wounds. Hopefully we have no more deaths on this situation, but if we do, that is a-okay as well. We are just going to watch our feet here. We're applying wounds. We're going into our next DT window, so we're going to pop that, and then just back to spamming vampiric strikes, using our doom procs, and not trying to overcap on either of our resources. Watching our feet for the balls. I like to stand over here just because this is where I feel safe. I'm going to... Oh, my cancel out macro aura does not seem to work for my Scythe, so that's okay. We're just going to not hit the button. Because like I said, it is, unfortunately, it will miss. We will Death's Advance this. Make sure we don't get hit by any of the orbs. We will pop a defensive, help our healer out. This is a hard healing phase for them. We're going into our next cooldown window here. We are going to Unholy Assault. We are going to Dark Transformation. We are trying not to get hit by that dude's line. The line's on me. I'm going to pop a defensive. Because I didn't have AMS. We're going to watch our feet for the balls. And just vampiric striking and death coiling. Put a new defile down for the haste buff. Reapply dots. Now we are applying wounds and popping wounds because we are outside of our cooldown windows. I can't really see in this corner I'm in. I'm going to pop Slappy Hands for the extra damage. Just kind of waiting for our next Dark Transformation, but the boss should die before that. Apply dots to him. We'll DT him. Put a thing down. And we'll just Death Coil our way to victory. And there we go. That is a 14 workshop. Here is a look at my breakdown for the key. 3.13 is definitely a little bit on the lower end for my damage profile in this key. I'm typically, actually, this is the first time I've run it since the Cujo change, so I don't know if that affects it all. But typically, I've been sitting around 3.6, 3.7, sometimes even 3. I think my highest in here is 3.9, but like 3.8 is a pretty good one for me. So yeah, this is the damage breakdown. And hopefully it kind of helps you guys understand the class a little bit better, and maybe some stuff that you know, dungeon specific stuff that is good for you. But anyways, I hope this helped. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.